Good afternoon, students. This is Mrs. Alea, and I'm reading Sociology and You, Chapter 1, An Invitation to Sociology by the Glenn Co. Chapter 1, Chapter Preview. Section 1, The Sociological Perspective. Section 2, The Origins of Sociology. Section 3, The Theoretical Perspectives. Chapter 1 Preview, Section 1, The Sociological Perspective, pages 6 through 13. Sociology studies human behavior. It assumes a group rather than an individual perspective. Sociologists look for the patterns in social relationships. Individuals can benefit by using their sociological imaginations to look at events in their personal lives. Chapter Preview, Section 2, The Origins of Sociology, pages 14 through 22. Sociology is a young science. It started with the writings of European scholars like Auguste Comte and Harriet Spencer, Karl Marx, Emily Durkheim, and Max Weber. Jane Addams and W.E.B. Du Bois helped to focus America's attention on social issues. After World War II, America took the lead in developing the field. Chapter Preview, Section 3, Theoretical Perspective, pages 23 through 31, Chapter 1. Sociology includes three major theoretical perspectives. Functionalism views society as an integrated whole. Conflict theory looks at class, race, and gender struggles. Symbolic interactionism examines how group members use shared symbols as they interact. Social Preview. Chapter 1. Sociology studies human social behavior. It assumes a group rather than an individual perspective. Sociologists look for the patterns in social relationships. Individuals can benefit by using their sociological imagination to look at events in their personal lives. Key terms, Chapter 1, The Sociological Perspective. Key term 1, perspective. Term 2, sociology. Term 3, sociological perspective. Term 4, social structure. Term 5, sociological imagination. Polling question. How much influence do groups have on your life? A, much influence. B, some influence. C, little influence. No influence is D. The nature of sociology, Chapter 1. Perspective is a particular point of view. Sociology is the study of social structure. The sociological perspective always focuses on the group as opposed to the individual. Chapter 1, Section 1, Discussion Question. How important is it to examine human behavior on a group level? A, very important. B, somewhat important. C, not very important. D, not important at all. The importance of patterns. Social structure is the pattern interaction of people in social relationships. Sociologists focus on a pattern of behavior shared by members of a group or society, not the behavior of an individual. All groups encourage conformity. Which size group do you think is the most likely to encourage conformity? A, large. B, medium. C, small. D, all have equal influence. Acquiring the sociological imagination. Sociological imagination is the ability of individuals to see the relationship between events in their personal lives and events in their society. Sociological imagination allows us to question accepted ideas or the conventional social wisdom. Discussion question. Chapter 1. Why is it important to understand the sociological perspective? A, to better understand the individual. B, to know which group is the best. C, to better understand the forces that affect our lives. And D, to learn how to be social. Section Preview, Chapter 1. Section 2. Sociology is young science. It started It started with the writings of European scholars like Auguste Comte, Harriet Martineau, Herbert Spencer, Karl Marx, Emily Durkheim, and Max Weber. Jane Addams and W.E. Du Bois helped develop focus America's attention on social issues. After World War II, America took the lead in developing the field of sociology. Chapter 1, Section 2, The Origins of Sociology. Key terms: positivism, social statics, social dynamics, bourgeoisie, capitalist, proletariat, class conflict, mechanical solidarity, organic solidarity, Verstehen, and rationalization. Chapter 1, Polling Question, Section 2. How would you rate changes in your society over the past few years? A, positive, B, neutral, C, negative, D, no real changes. Chapter 1, Section 2, European Origins. Sudden changes during the late 19th century in Europe caused intellectuals to begin the study of sociology. Auguste Comte used positivism, scientific observation so that no one can be positive of results, to study society. European origins continued. Comte distinguished between social statics and social dynamics. Marx felt that the key to the unfolding of history was classic conflict. Emily Durkheim believed that in pre-industrial time, societies were based on mechanical solidarity. In industrial times, societies are based organic solidarity. Durkheim introduced the use of statistical techniques for testing social theories. Max Weber claimed that humans act on the basis of their own understanding of a situation. Weber believed that the best understanding of the personal intentions of people in groups can be gained through the method of Verstehen. Weber identified rationalization as a key influence in the change of society. Chapter 1, Section 2, The Origins of Society. Discussion question. How did Karl Marx believe a communistic society would arise? A, through the method of Verstehen. B, by rationalization. C, class conflict would ensue. D, through the rise of social Darwinism. Society in America, Section 2, Chapter 1. The study of sociology began in Europe, but the greatest developments has taken place in the United States. Jane Addams was the best known of the early women social reformers in the United States. Addams focused on the women's suffrage and peace movements as well as the effects of industrialism on the lower class. Addams was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1931. W.E.B. Du Bois experienced and studied racial discrimination and segregation. Du Bois analyzed the sophisticated social structure of African American communities within the United States and throughout the world. Discussion question, Chapter 1, Section 2, The Origins of Sociology. How were Jane Addams and W.E.B. Du Bois similar? A, they were both from Europe. B, both focused on people who endured discrimination. C, they left the United States looking for a better life. D, both graduated from the University of Chicago. Chapter 1, Section 3, Theoretical Perspectives. Section Preview. Sociology includes three major theoretical perspectives. Functionalism views society as an integrated whole. Conflict theory looks at class, race, and gender struggles. Symbolic interactionism examines how group members use shared symbols as they interact. Chapter 1, Section 3, Theoretical Perspective Key Terms. Theoretical perspective, functionalism, manifestation functions, latent functions, dysfunction, conflict perspective, power, symbolic interaction, dramaturgy. Chapter 1, Section 3, Theoretical Perspectives, polling question. As you have grown older, has your perspective of school changed? A, very much, B, a little, C, not at all. Chapter 1, Section 3, Theoretical Perspectives, the role of theoretical perspectives. Theoretical perspective, when applied to sociology, means a set of assumptions about the workings of a society accepted as true by the supporters of the theory. 3 theoretical perspectives overarch in the field of sociology: functionalism, conflict theory, and symbolic interaction. Section 3, Theoretical Perspectives, Chapter 1, Discussion question. Is it important to have different perspectives? A, yes, B, no, C, it depends on the situation. Functionalism states that all parts of a society contribute or function as an integrated whole. A change in one part of a society leads to change in another part. Chapter 1, Section 3, Theoretical Perspectives. According to Robert Merton, 1969, there are 2 kinds of functions: manifest functions, and latent functions. Elements of society that make a negative contribution lead to dysfunction. According to functionalism, there is a consensus on values that leads to the high degree of cooperation found in any society. Chapter 1, Section 3, Theoretical Perspectives, Discussion question. Which function is unintended and unrecognized? A, manifest function, B, dysfunction, C, latent function, D, malfunction. Conflict perspective. The conflict perspective emphasizes that groups and societies compete as they attempt to preserve and promote their own special values and interests. Conflict theory is based on a contest for power. Chapter 1, Section 3, Theoretical Perspectives, Discussion question. Which of the following do you feel is the most associated with power? A, wealth, B, prestige, C, ideas, D, physical ability. Symbolic interactionism. Symbolic interactionism, according to Herbert Blumer, is defined as the interactions among people based on mutual understood symbols. The basic assumptions of symbolic interactionism include: we learn the meaning of a symbol from the way we see others reacting to it. We base our behavior interactions on those symbols. Then we use the meanings of symbols to imagine how others will respond to our behavior. To better understand human interactionism, Irvin Goffman introduced dramaturgy, which describes human interaction as a theoretical performance. Chapter 1, Section 3, Theoretical Perspectives, Discussion question. Which term means the depiction of human interaction as a theoretical performance? Impression, conflict, dramaturgy, symbol. Chapter 1, An Invitation to Sociology, the Social Sciences. Sociology, anthropology, and psychology. Psychology investigates human social behavior from a group rather than an individual perspective. It concentrates on patterns of social relationships, primarily in modern societies. Example, relationships between an employee, between the employment of women and family size. Anthropology. Anthropology investigates culture, the the customary beliefs and material traits of groups. It is the social science most closely related to sociology. Anthropologists, however, concentrate on the study of pre-literate societies, societies that do not use writing. Sociologists focus on modern industrial societies. Psychology. Psychology investigates human mental and emotional progress. While sociologists concentrate on the group, psychologists also study the development and functioning of the individual. Effects of anthropology. Example, nature of the family in perpetual societies. Pre-literate societies, Example for psychology, effects of birth order on emotional development. Chapter 1, An Invitation to Sociology, the Social Sciences. Economics, political science, history. The description of economics. Economics is a study of the production, distribution, and consummation of goods and services. Example, annual income levels of American families. Political science description. Political science investigates the organization, administration, history, and theory of government. Political sciences are concerned, for example, with voting patterns and participation in political parties. Example, relationship between a family's social class and voting behavior. Chapter 1, An Invitation to Sociology, Timeline of Early Sociologists. American Revolution. George Washington is president. French Revolution. Louisiana Purchase. Francis Lowell builds nation's largest textile factory. Indian Removal Act. Hubert Spencer publishes Charles Darwin publishes. This is 1859. This is 1850. Society is a reliable, integral whole. Assumptions of the major theoretical perspectives. This table compares the most important assumptions of the functionalist, conflict, and symbolic interactionist perspectives. Do you believe, as the functionalists do, that society is relatively well integrated, or do you support the conflict theorist assumption that society experiences conflict on all levels? Number 1, under functionalism, a society is a relatively integrated whole. 2, a society tends to seek relative stability. 3, Most aspects of a society contribute to the society's well-being and survival. 4. A society rests on the consensus of its members. Conflict perspective. A society experiences inconsistency and conflict everywhere. 2. A society is continually subjected to change. 3. A society involves the constraint and coercion of some members by others. Symbolic interactionism. 1. People's interpretations of symbols are based on the meanings they learn from others. 2. People base their interaction on their interpretations of symbols. And 3. Symbols permit people to have internal conversations, thus they can gear their interaction to the behavior that they think others expect of them and the behavior they expect of others. All right, this is the end of part 1. Link up with the next video for part 2 for chapter 1.